Have you ever heard the people of God say that God made men for women and women for men? Or this one, which I hate, God made Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve? Well, people around the world who celebrate these different beliefs believe that homosexuality is a sin just based on the mere fact that it takes away the obligation of life. For me, I believe that God made everyone in his image and his likeness. So why do we treat people of the same sex attraction with cruelness and hatred? Aren't we all the same? Aren't we all God's people? Well, stay tuned because you'll find out more on Courtney's Corner. I just wanted to touch on this homosexuality versus the church because I know it's a reality. I know that we are all going through some things like this. I know personally in my life, I know a lot of people who attend church but are of the homosexuality culture and are scared. A lot are scared because they're scared to come out. A lot of people are scared because they're going to be judged by their family, their friends. I have with me a young man, a talented young man, who I had the opportunity to meet during my ministry in Brooklyn, East New York. He's a talented young man. He's a family man. He's a friend of God. Give it up for Ephraim. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Before we even get started, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, my name is Ephraim Torres. I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. I'm 26 years old. I've been living in East New York for about past decade or so. I was raised Roman Catholic, as most Puerto Ricans are, in traditional families.
No, that's true.
I do a lot of youth ministry in my parish, Blessed Sacrament in Cypress Hills, Brooklyn, as well as within the Jornada movement, which is a large Hispanic movement based in the Brooklyn Queens Diocese, and as well as music ministry. I do a lot of music ministry both within my parish and then with the Jornada movement. Okay,
so you basically born and raised in our Catholic faith, and getting into ministry. So how is it now growing up with all these kind of emotions and feelings, knowing that, or kind of feeling that you were different than any other guy that was there, or maybe going to school and realizing that I don't feel the same way they do. I'm not interested in the same thing they are. How was that growing up?
It was a lot of internal conflict, mostly because, well, I didn't realize I was different until about the time that I hit puberty, because I like girls like most guys. And growing up, I tended to ignore the side of me because I identify as pansexual. I've identified as bi, I've identified as gay, and I feel like pansexual kind of is the way that I would describe myself.
Well, if you don't mind, because I don't really know what that is either, I'm pretty sure some viewers don't know. What is pansexual?
So pansexual means that you are attracted, or you are open to loving anyone of any gender.
Gotcha.
So male, female, transgender, or cisgender, or gender non-conforming, non-binary. In my opinion, I feel like if we have a connection, then that is grounds for us to build something. That, and I don't find anybody, ugly. I find attraction in almost anybody, Okay. But that's basically how I would describe myself and how I would identify. The reason that led to a lot of conflict because growing up I was attracted to girls. I had a crush in every grade that I was in. There was one time that my mother never found out, God rest her soul. I stole a pair of earrings from my mother to give to this girl I was in love with.
Oh my God.
In the 7th grade.
Yes.
Thank God they were cubic zirconia. But it wasn't until I hit puberty that I realized that my feelings started changing, and I started getting into sports, and I was never attracted to boys. It was to grown men that that I started feeling attraction for, and I knew it was something that we don't speak of. It's
Right.
something that you know, I was a kid in Brooklyn, and you hear your friends how they talk about people who like guys, you know, they're fags, they're queens, or whatever they are, and that's just something that I didn't come to terms with and locked away for a long time.
So how did that make you feel? Like going through all of this, knowing that, hey, I like girls, but now I'm getting older and I'm going through puberty and I like grown men. You know what I mean?
Basically.
I like grown men, but then again, I got to go back home to East New York, and I can't tell my boys that I like grown men. You know what I'm saying? So how was that for you?
That was it was pretty simple. I didn't speak about it, so it was, you know, it was just something that I felt like I repressed. You know, that's the easiest way that I felt like I could deal with it.
So did it make you depressed? Did it make you kind of have these kind of thoughts?
It made me assert my masculinity even harder. So I was always self-conscious about being man enough. I was always worrying about what defined a man. And I made some really poor choices in how I defined manhood because, you know, I got into...
Because of your comfortability.
Right, because, you know, my insecurity in myself and thinking that I was so transparent that everybody could see the secret that I'm hiding. So I became more thug. I became more disrespectful. I almost didn't graduate high school. You know, I was about to drop out. And I was into a lot of things that I feel were developed out of this insecurity and this kind of self-hate for my attraction to men.
Right.
You know, so I hated that part of me, and I didn't want anyone else to see that part of me, and I just ignored it. But I also asserted myself to be tougher, so that people wouldn't.
So it was more so like putting on the mask.
Exactly.
Not so much just asserting a masculinity, but becoming somebody else, because in reality, that wasn't who you are. Depending on which priest you speak to or which youth minister you speak to, you're given different definitions of what's right. Now, me personally, I believe that we're all made in God's image and God's likeness, and I feel like at the end of the day, He loves us regardless of who we are. Now, do I believe that homosexuality is a sin? Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. You know, I feel like, you know, it can be, but then again, if you are that way, why would God create you that way, right? So this is where my battle is. Now, being a part of ministry, being a part of the youth ministry, being a part of music ministry, just kind of growing up in the church, how did that make you feel knowing that you were in this, basically in this shell, trying to break out, but knowing that you represented the body of Christ, you represented the church, St. Clair's, from what you were telling me, and having to go and, you know, try to be a leader to amongst a bunch of people, not telling them your whole truth?
Oh, it was actually Blessed Sacrament.
Blessed Sacrament. Yeah. I'm sorry, guys.
I feel like that developed more. I guess my confidence in I don't really know. I feel like that's something that was discovered along the way in me being involved in youth ministry, because I really and truly, I just came out this year in January.
Oh, wow.
So it's been fairly new. Everything has been fairly new. It's gonna be
like this whole process.
Right. This whole process has been fairly new. So it took a lot of soul searching, and a lot of realization that God does love me in the way that He made me. Do I believe that homosexuality is a sin? I agree with you, and you know, like I've gone back and forth on it, and at the end of the day, no, I don't believe that it's a sin. I believe that there are many aspects of what the culture of the LGBT community might be portrayed as on TV and in the media, such as being promiscuous, such as, you know, not caring about themselves. You know, those things, yes.
Yes.
So I agree in a sense, and I've had some guilt from you know, from self-discovery before I came out. You know, I feel that a lot of straight people have gone through a promiscuous stage.
Right.
You know, And I feel that people like to cherry pick things, especially when talking, and by people I mean people in the church, like to cherry pick what's a sin and what should be judged.
Right.
And I feel
I agree with that.
LGBT as a whole, being the word gay, if you say you're gay, people have this image of you, and that is your sin, that you're gay. When really and truly, gay is just an attraction.
Right.
There are gay priests. There are gay people, who choose to be celibate. Are we to say that they're sinning because they have this attraction?
Right.
So
what do you say to the people who just kind of base that homosexuality as the only sin? You know what I mean? Like, there are so many things going on in the community as a whole. But I feel like you were saying before, like for somebody to come out and say, hey, I'm gay, everything else is null and void. And it's just like that one thing that kind of is like pushes you out, makes you this another person, another being. What do you say to those people who are just feel like, you're gay, you don't belong?
What I say to those people is that our job, we were given one job in this life. We were given one main commandment, the greatest commandment of all, and that is to love one another.
Amen.
That is to love one another as God loves us, as we love ourselves. So, it's funny because one of my CCD kids, we just started a brand new year. I teach confirmation. I teach pre-confirmation. And I have a new student. And one of the things that she asked when we were talking about evangelization is she's like, I know somebody who evangelizes by telling people like, oh, God doesn't like this and you're gay, so God doesn't like gay people and you should do this and this. And I'm like, well, that's not evangelization. That's not how you spread the gospel. How you spread it is by love. Right. And how we spread it is through our actions. Who are we to tell other people, what their sin is? That's not how we spread the love of God and the word of God. It is through our kindness and through our actions and through our love.
Yes.
So
I agree.
So those people who choose to ostracize not only the LGBT community but anybody from the church, that doesn't make them a good Christian.
I think it makes them even more hypocritical than the people they're trying to call hypocritical.
And it's counterproductive.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, what are you looking for in your church? You're looking for other people to come to your church. Right. We are not supposed to be a selfish religion. We are a selfless religion. We are to be shared. God is something that is to be shared with all people. And if you're saying that God is not for you, and that Christ is not for you, then that's a lie. Because He was for everybody. He was for the prostitutes. He was for the tax collectors. He was for every single person. He was for the sick people. He was for the poor people, the downtrodden. So, it makes no sense. People who do that because they're placing themselves on a throne, talking down to somebody about their God who ate with and served the people who were judged and downtrodden. Right. So, if anybody knows anything about Christianity, they would know that that's more important.
Right.
Love.
Yes. So now that you've come full circle, right? You've now come out and you embraced who you are. I remember reading that post and was so proud of you because I was like, wow. It takes a strong person to do that and then post it on social media. Like, it was really, really, big for me to see that, and I commend you for that. So now that you've come out and you've celebrated that, how do you feel now? How has life been for you going through this journey right now?
Well, the coming out post was kind of like ripping a Band-Aid off because I came out to a few people here and there, but it was something that not everybody knew, and I was still kind of 1 foot in the closet, hiding here and there. And then
to certain people, specific people.
When I first came out, it was Pride Sunday, and I just decided to make this post because I felt so much love at the Pride March. Right. I felt so much of a sense of belonging because everybody was so happy and they were celebrating and they were there and just being themselves. And I thought to myself, wow, these people are all out. And I'm comfortable. I'm not out. And these people are all out and they're all happy and they're all just, they're celebrating who they are, that they can be who they are. And I'm here watching them celebrate that they can be themselves without me being myself.
Right.
So since coming out and ripping that Band-Aid off, I've got nothing but love, and you know, that's come with warning from other people who have come out, like, hey, you know, not everybody's gonna be supportive of you.
Right.
But so far, the people who haven't been supportive have been real quiet. Nobody's ever said anything, you know, to me. I mean, I've had family members with little side eyes here and there, but for the most part, it's been nothing but love. You know, it's been a journey of self-discovery and of ups and downs, and things are looking up. I have a boyfriend
who's actually here. I'm not going to show him, guys, but his name is Emmanuel.
He's also very much, you know, was raised how I was raised in the church, and
so you guys both came out together, or was it?
No. He's been out pretty much since birth. Okay, got you.
Straight from the womb.
Yes,
okay,
but
got you.
You know,
I believe
it's been definitely been a ride, but a ride well worth taking.
Well, I commend you for even coming on the show and being able to talk about this. Ephraim is going to stick around. We're going to have 2 more people join us just to kind of get their takes and their opinions and views on homosexuality in the church. We'll be right back. Don't go nowhere. Welcome back to Courtney's Corner. Here to join me and Ephraim are 2 amazing individuals. Please introduce yourself to the viewers.
Hi, my name is Jeremy.
Hi, my name is Michelle.
Thank you so much for joining us. So me and Ephraim were talking about homosexuality and the church. I wanted to kind of come together with a bunch of individuals and just get their ideas and opinions on how you felt. So let's start off with the first question. Why do you feel that homosexuality is seen to be worse than any other sin? Like, you know, I feel like there's so much going on, so much things that are happening in the community that are sinful, but yet to be considered homosexuality seems like that top sin, like the only one that's, you know, right, out of all of them. But we always state, and people are always stating a sin is just a sin, right? All sins are equal, but are they really? Can I get a take on this?
Well, I think the sin of homosexuality is being seen as like such like a number one top of the line is because I think even in like today's age of like 2018, it's still something that's still being developed as like becoming like a norm in today's society. Like even though like people are coming out and you have events like Pride Day and people just really embracing like the culture of like coming out and being who they are and liking their same sex, like it's just still being seen as like, okay, this is a new thing, it's still being developed, it's still coming to like be a normal thing with people.
Okay.
Okay, let's go back a little bit, Courtney. Sorry, I'm gonna have to read from my thing. The word religion, okay, means to bind, to tie down, and to hold back. That's what the word religion means, okay? I'm just giving you like a little history of religion on a whole, right? Remember, to bind, to tie down, and to hold back. Religion was created to control the masses. Now, it doesn't mean that I don't believe in God, because I do believe in God, but it's more of spirituality than religion. Do you know that there are 4,200 different religions?
Okay. I'm here with you.
Right.
I'm waiting to get to the
Christianity
answer.
alone has 33,000 different secular denominations.
Okay.
And my point about that is, that's the Webster's the definition, I should say. Fundamental, this is the Webster's definition, I'm sorry. A fundamental set of beliefs and practices generally agreed upon by a group of people. These sets of belief concerns and causes, nature and purpose of the universe, devotional and spiritual observances. My point for getting to that was, let's suppose I am not a person that believes in religion.
Okay.
How does my sexuality have to do with anything? What does my sexuality have to do with anything? If I don't believe in the same God you do, what does my sexuality have to do with it? I'm still a human being at the end of the day.
Okay.
I'm still an individual. I'm still flesh and blood like you and everybody else. So what does that have to do with anything? Let's play devil advocate. And I do believe in Christianity and I do believe in God. Isn't that the same God that says, love thy neighbor as you love yourself? Isn't that the same God that says, be merciful as I have been merciful to you?
Right.
So what gives anybody the right to judge anybody's sexuality?
Okay. I agree. I mean, with all that being said, it happens.
Right.
Which is why, which goes back to the question that I stated in the beginning, why is it that people are deemed to feel as though homosexuality is the end-all be-all?
And this is my conclusion about that. It's a bunch of hypocrisy.
Right.
Because my purpose, remember, like I said, there are so many level of Christianity, whether it's Hindu, whether it's Muslim, whether it's Catholic, whatever it is that people believe in. And as I said, I believe in God. That does not change anything. But I'm more of a spiritual being. Spirituality is connection to each other, to people. Versus Christianity that focus, I mean, people are going to get mad for me saying this, on crap. Because what do you do with Christianity? You judge people when you're really not in any position to judge anyone. You talk about people, and these are the same people that comes to church, pay tithes, pay offering, and everything else that they're supposed to do.
So basically you're saying, like, religion, Christianity, are people who are coming, who now come to church and they judge. Right, that's what you just said.
Absolutely.
Right, I just want to make sure that we're clear, because at the end of the day,
yes, part of it.
Right. So wait. Just let me get here real quick. So then, what does that make you? Because now you just went and you just basically said that they're there to judge. But what about those who are there because they love God, they're there for God, and they want to be a blessing to others, and they want other people to be invited to the love that God provides for them? So now, what do we call them? Do we call them people who are full of crap? Because not everybody who go to church are there to judge one another. Not everybody's going there to look for who's gay, who's straight, who raped who's sleeping with whose mother. Some people just going there looking for God. Okay. So what do we say about those people?
So, and I completely agree with you. There are people that genuinely goes to church or synagogue or whatever their denomination is to look for something higher.
Right.
To make that connection with a higher power. And I do agree with that. Everybody doesn't have that level of hypocrisy. But generally speaking, the church is usually the one always pointing the finger at everybody else.
The church or the people in the church?
Well, the people in the church is the church.
Because then to try to veer back into the topic, right? So why do these people in the church, of the church, feel as though homosexuality is the number one sin?
I guess that's a personal opinion, a personal thought. I mean, I don't understand why they would think that would be the end. There are so many other things happening in the world. Generally, you have so many different storms, you have so many different things going on. Why is it that everybody keeps focusing on a person's sexuality? Like, that's the biggest sin in the world. There are no little sin and big sin. You mentioned that prior within the segment with Ephraim. Oh, okay, sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah. So if I'm an adulteress, it's the same sin as him being homosexual. So why are you pointing your finger at him because he likes somebody of the same sex? I mean, I'm not just, of the same sex versus me being an adulteress. Okay. If I'm a murderer, why is it that you can overlook that and say God is going to forgive you, but he's condemned to hell? There is no level of sin. Sin is sin. Okay. Big, small, there is none of that. It's just on one level. We're all sinners. That's the bottom line. That's the truth.
I mean, Okay.
We're
that's
all
great.
sinners. We all fall short if we're going to believe the Bible.
So next question is, do you guys believe that people can be born gay, or is this something that is like a metabolic trigger when you're inside the womb? I know for myself, like sometimes I believe that it depends on the spirits around your pre-stages before you are born. That's my belief. Now everybody's belief is different, so I want to get your opinions. Starting with Michelle.
I don't necessarily think you're born gay, but there have been studies that have shown that kids from a very, very young age knew their sexuality, who they liked, and who they were from, an extremely young age, based on their disposition growing up.
Okay.
Parents were able to tell, he may be gay or she may be gay, based on what was happening, the way they interacted with other children, the things they did. They were able to tell that from infancy.
Okay, Ephraim.
The truth is, I don't know. I feel that it's different for every person. I feel that something happens where you kind of realize, and a lot of times, as Michelle said, it's as a kid where people come to that realization, and they might not even know, like they might not even know what gay is.
Right.
There are kids. I want to take the word feminine out, because feminine is associated a lot of times with being gay. And that's not always the case. In my case, I feel like I learned a lot later, that awakening happened a lot later than as a little kid, as some kids are. Some kids, people know that they're gay, adults know that they're gay before they know that they're gay.
Right.
I think it just depends on the person and when they have that awakening. Because as a little kid, as an infant, you don't really like anybody.
Right.
We kind of know who we're supposed to like by just watching TV and things like that. The boys are supposed to like the girls.
Right.
But you can tell kind of when you're getting a little bit older if you're really interested in girls or if everybody else wants you to be interested in girls.
Right. Okay. Jeremy?
Yeah, to piggyback off of what he had said, I kind of agree. I'm in like the same space of like the I don't know, because it's like, as he said, when you're that young, it's like you don't really know. It's just like, okay, you're growing up, like depending on your situation. Let's say like you're like an only son or daughter, and let's say you being an only son, you're surrounded by a lot of female figures. Maybe that may like transcend onto you, and like it'll like as you get older, you'll start to develop like some of those female traits, like, dressing a certain way or acting a certain way, and the same goes vice versa. Like if a female has like a lot of like male figures in her life, then she might gravitate more towards the male side. But and when you're so young, it's really just hard to really like kind of like pinpoint like, okay, I'm attracted to the opposite sex or I'm attracted to the same sex.
Okay. So my opinion, I'm always kind of two-sided, guys. I have a whole lot of people in my life who are gay, and for those of you who know me very well, I'm heavy into church. Like I'm heavy. And as I've read the Bible, there are certain, people always where the Bible says, in reality, and you can challenge me, you can hit me up on my Instagram, my Facebook, I don't see nowhere where it says, that people are not born gay or are born gay, or that God, doesn't agree. All I've ever read, from Paul to Leviticus, that, God is love. You know what I'm saying? And God creates love. So, do I believe that people are born gay? A part of me goes, like you guys were saying, who knows? And a part of me is like, well, if they say that they are, then who's to say that they're not? Right. Who are we as humans, as flesh, as sinners, as you say, are to say that they aren't? If people are saying, hey, from the womb I knew I was, you know what I mean? Then who am I to say hell no? We're going to come right back with some questions from our viewers. Be right back.
LGBT community what he told everybody. You are loved, you are a child of God, and you know, can have eternal salvation if you choose to follow me.
Okay. I have to say that it doesn't matter what denomination you're from, you're still a child of God. And at the end of the day, we all need to be treated with that same respect, dignity, and love that we desire to have for ourselves. First and foremost, let me just thank you all for being here. I respect you for being able to sit amongst me and to talk about this. It's not easy. So I respect you for it. I thank you for your ideas because I know they came real controversial, and I love it. Efrain, I thank you so much for being a part of this and being able to tell your truth. For those who are at home right now may not know what to do. Jeremy, thank you so much for being here. I know I kind of dragged you out, but these are my people. I love them. If you guys are at home right now and don't know what to do, besides watching Courtney's Corner, I am going to give you an 800 number. It's for the Trevor Project. It's 8-100-273-8255. If for whatever reason, you're feeling like you don't know what to do, you're scared, and you're in turmoil right now, you feel like you want to harm yourself, please call that number. Get help, get people involved, and don't be afraid. I thank you so much for watching Courtney's Corner, and I'll see you next time.
Love is not a novelty, a rarely painted masterpiece, a word too often used but not believed. An underwater rocket love, exactly what I'm searching for. If you're brave enough to go, then tell me so. Say you'll go to Nirvana, who believe samsara, all in the words of Dhammapada, who believe, who will follow, our love will sail. In this ark, the world could end. Outside our window, we'll find forever and write our name in fire across each other's hearts. Love is not a fantasy, a haiku written in Japanese, a place where people go or even know. Witness the interaction of the flood, the sea, the sky, the dove. Time arose to shores, but not our love. Say you'll go to Nirvana, who believe samsara, and in the words of Dhammapada, who believe, who will follow, our love will sail. In this ark, the world could end. Outside our window, we'll find forever and write our name in fire across each other's hearts. Do do do, do 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 do, do 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 do, da 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 da. Do do do, do 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 do, do 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 do, do 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 do. Our love will sail in this ark. The world could end. Outside our window, we'll find forever and write our name in fire across each other's hearts. Our love will sail in this ark. The world could end today. Let's find forever and write our name in fire across each other's hearts.
All right, let's get to Ephraim so we can go to break. But we'll be right back on Courtney's Corner.